Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to make a statement on the accommodation crisis in our public universities. Mr. Speaker, during the recess, a constituent whose daughter had gained admission to study at the University of Ghana requested that I help her daughter secure accommodation after they had been unsuccessful in their online application. Mr. Speaker, I wondered why it should take the intervention of a member of parliament to find a place for a prospective student. Nonetheless, I offered to help. Mr. Speaker, to my surprise, and a precursor to this statement is my experience on the morning of January 6, 2022. On that day, I visited the campus of the University of Ghana together with a student and her father, who had traveled all the way from New Edubiase to begin their search for accommodation on campus. Mr. Speaker, all attempts at meeting the traditional hall authorities to put forward a request were unsuccessful. Mr. Speaker, it took us over 6 hours of waiting for a manager of one of the hostel facilities on campus to finally find a slot for my constituent. When I was leaving the manager's office at around 4:40 p.m., there was still a queue of desperate students and their parents waiting to have an audience with the managers of the hostel. Mr. Speaker, as I stepped out in the hallway, one parent who had accompanied her child from Kumasi in search of accommodation approached me and said, and I quote, "Gentlemen, I don't know why, but something just told me to speak to you. Maybe you could help. I have been here since 6 a.m. in search of accommodation for my daughter. I have waited to see the manager, but they keep saying he's busy. Please help me, as I don't know what to do now," unquote, she stated as she shed tears. Mr. Speaker, whilst I was trying to console the frustrated parent, another parent came up to me and lamented, "I gained admission here in 1998. I had challenges with finding accommodation for myself on campus. 24 years on, my son is still facing similar problems. What kind of a system are we running in this country?" she asked. Mr. Speaker, I continue to stay in touch with these parents and their wards, and it took more than 1 week for them to secure accommodation. Mr. Speaker, I'm sure there are many depressing stories of how students struggle to find accommodation in our various public universities in the country. Mr. Speaker, the current arrangement in some of our public universities are that after paying tuition, students are required to apply and secure accommodation online. Mr. Speaker, this arrangement does not often work for many students, especially those in rural areas. Mr. Speaker, to access the online portals, one needs fast and reliable internet, which is a challenge in many parts of the country. Even for those in our urban areas, the reports are that rooms are usually unavailable by the time students get the notification to log on to the portals. Mr. Speaker, the cost of accommodation on campus is too high for the average parent. Currently, apart from the traditional halls, the average residential fee ranges between a little below 2,500 cedis to 12,000 Ghana cedis for an academic year. This development makes it difficult for students from poor families to enroll. Mr. Speaker, as enrollment increases in our public universities, the only logical thing for the government to do is to provide adequate facilities to accommodate the growing student population. Mr. Speaker, the government must also enhance the build, operate, and transfer concept as it pertains in some public universities. This would serve as an incentive to encourage the private sector in helping to solve the accommodation crisis. Mr. Speaker, when accommodation facilities are expanded, the government, through university councils, must put measures to curtail the rise in illegal selling of bed spaces in our various public universities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.